Thanks for staying with us. Unions representing workers at Eskom have rejected the offer of a 3.75% increase. Solidarity, NUMSA, are demanding 15%, but the struggling power utility says it simply does not have the money. Our reporter Heidi Giokos has been tracking that story for us, and she joins us here in studio. Heidi, an ongoing story. NUM says its workers are being undermined.
Yes, so I think this is the overall view of NUM, NUMSA and Solidarity. The first round of wage negotiations commenced this week. This is something that we see happening every single year. And NUM and NUMSA are demanding 50% wage increase for the next 2 years, whereas Solidarity is demanding CPI, so inflation, which is 7.1% plus 3%. But what unions have indicated is that their workers are being undermined. They never get the salary increase, which is always put on the table. Currently, Eskom has put 3.75% on the table, so that is not even near inflation. What the unions have indicated is that they feel their workers are being undermined, they're being targeted because of this energy crisis that we are facing. And ordinarily, one would look at workers and say, but you at Eskom, what is actually going on here? Whereas unions are saying it's not the workers' fault that there's constant rolling blackouts, and because of the economic climate, they do believe that workers deserve a 15% increase. What is going to be important is the next 2 rounds. We do know that this is round 1, there'll be a second round and a third round, and hopefully there'll be no deadlock, Marcel, because if there is a deadlock, we're going to have a repeat of last year where certain workers decided to go on strike, and that was interdicted, and it pushed the country into higher stages of load shedding. But unions are saying it's about time that Eskom understands that workers need this increase, but Eskom saying it's unsustainable and unachievable because they feel, because of the financial state that the power utility is in, they cannot afford this. But let's listen to what NUM had to say in that press briefing.
Treasury conditions on this bailout amount are unjust, are unfair. Don't bail out an entity and forget that that entity has got workers. And we really want to say it's not shaking us. Workers across the country has been undermined for so long. It is a struggle for workers that we've observed in the country that, you know, there's a tendency to forget that we've got workers who are actually making sure that entities are surviving. So the same thing is happening at Eskom. You can't have Eskom without workers. So you can't plan and budget at Eskom without workers. So we really wish to say in this way, you know, Eskom and Treasury in their own deliberations, because look, it can't be that there are problems here.
Now, Heidi, what is Solidarity taking on this? Because we're dealing with Solidarity, NUM and NUM. So what's Solidarity saying?
Yes, so Solidarity is obviously taking a bit of a different stance because it's not asking for 15%. They are asking for CPI, inflation, which is 7.1% plus 3%, so around about 10%. But Solidarity, together with other unions, which is NUM and NUMSA, they had a joint press briefing, have indicated that they are very disappointed in how round 1 has gone with Eskom. They've accused Eskom of being sloppy, of being disappointing, of negotiating in bad faith, being ill-prepared, because Solidarity saying they rejected a 3.75% offered by Eskom, but they don't have proper justification for rejecting this because, okay, of course, it's a very bad figure. It's below inflation. But they're saying that Eskom did not come with any financial statements to say this is where we are. If we increase by 5% or by 15%, this is what it's going to do to Eskom's financials. Already, we know that National Treasury has agreed to take over 200 billion rand of Eskom's debt. And the union's also coming out and saying the conditions attached to that they don't agree with, because at the end of the day, you can't separate the two. You need the workers to be at Eskom, and they also need to be looked after. And Solidarity saying they have to find a way to negotiate effectively with Eskom, because right now they are not satisfied with how round 1 has gone. Let's listen to Solidarity.
Inflation pressure experienced by the workers that we represent is higher than the CPI. We can break it down into detail. Then the duration of the agreement to be 2 years. Then the long service award to be calculated as a percentage of the employee's basic rate of pay at the moment is based on 20,000 Rand cap. Housing allowance to increase by 5%. All other allowances and benefits to increase as the same percentage as the final agreed salary increase. And then we also requested that the unilateral change to conditions of employment to be corrected.
So an ongoing story there. Heidi Giokos, thank you so much for that update.